Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, welcome. My name is Christine. I will list all my socials down below. Now today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different video. By the title you can tell we will be talking about relationships today while doing my makeup. If you're not interested in this, check out my other videos. I have strictly makeup related videos, I have reviews, I have recipes, there's a list. So I'm sure if you're not interested in this one, you can always check my other videos out. But today I just wanted to have a little conversation about relationships and do my makeup in the process. So if you're interested in what I have to say and what I'll be doing, then just keep watching. Like I said, I will be doing my makeup while talking to you about relationships. If you want to know all the products that I put on my face today, then I will list it down below, as well as mention some of the products during the process. It's just a matter of how deep in the conversation I am. But everything will be listed down below. So far, I am using the Tatcha water cream. But to start with the conversation, I really wanted to have videos in relation to this topic because I myself have gone through quite a lot of traumatic experiences when it came to relationships. So I figure obviously I'm not the only one out there, and if I can help and give some insight in any way possible, then I really want to do that, especially to someone who's in whether it's a domestic abusive relationship or just in general. So today's topic, I want to talk about being bitter. Now, when we first enter our first relationship, we're naive, obviously, and we think that the person that we are with, we're gonna be with for the rest of our lives. And most of the time, that's not the case. And usually in our first few relationships, we're super naive and we tolerate a lot of bullshit. It just comes with the territory. You're naive. You're thinking, oh, it'll get better. Whatever the situation. Oh, I love this person. But as you progress and wind up in other relationships, you realize that not everything is going to be hunky-dory, and relationships, for the most part, don't last forever. That's just the reality of the situation. Of course, we want to wind up with someone that we'll wind up marrying and be with for the rest of our lives. But for a lot of cases, that's not the reality. And I was having this conversation with a friend because we were having this conversation about how when we go through traumatic experiences and relationships that just tear us down mentally, physically, whatever the situation, we wind up being bitter. Now, this is really up for debate because as you go through different stages of relationships, you realize what you're going to tolerate and what you don't. Hopefully, I want to say hopefully, because some people are still in that stage where they tolerate, the worst. And in reality, we shouldn't. We shouldn't tolerate someone, no matter how much we love them. We shouldn't tolerate someone disrespecting us, degrading us, whatever the situation. So a lot of people would say that we wind up becoming bitter. Now, in some cases, that might be true, but for the most part, I don't believe in that. Prime example, after my previous relationship before this one, I realized that that was not the situation that I wanted to be in, and I shouldn't allow myself to stay in a situation like that. I did mention previously, very briefly in one of my videos, that I was in an abusive relationship, and it was just mentally abusive and minimal physical because I got out in time, but physical enough to the point where I had a broken arm in 3 places. Now, after I got out of that relationship, I promised myself that I am not going to tolerate anything that is less than what I'm worth. A lot of people would consider that bitter because I have less patience for the bullshit, But to me, it's not about being bitter. It's about setting your standards and knowing your worth. And of course, someone who you're in a relationship with, whether it be the new person or the person that you're going through the traumatic experience with and you're trying to work it out, they're going to tell you, hey, you're bitter, you're acting different, you're setting all these new rules now and you were never like this, like what's happening? And the reason why they say that to you is because they want you to, and I'm not speaking, I'm not saying this for everyone, but the reason why they say that is because they're shocked by your sudden change and self-worth. You know what I mean? Now all of a sudden you're not tolerating the crap that you used to tolerate before. So now all of a sudden you're bitter. And that's not the situation. You have to value yourself. You have to know your worth. You have to know that if you're in a relationship that is just constantly disrespectful, whether it be physical abuse, mental abuse, whether it be your spouse cheating on you, whatever the situation, if you're constantly allowing it and taking it, and then all of a sudden something clicks in your head and you're like, you know what, I don't deserve this, you know, like I deserve better. Now all of a sudden you're bitter, and that can't be the case. And I know not everyone's situation is easy. There's a lot of people that it's hard to get out of that relationship. It definitely was hard for me. It wasn't easy at all. You know, I had times where he would, since he knew my schedule, he would show up in places after we broke up. And thank God I always have friends around. And it was just a situation where I had to like move and not tell anyone where I moved to, because I didn't want it getting back to him and I didn't want him showing up. You know, it was a lot. And I know it takes a lot of strength, and it's hard, you know, it's hard. We think, oh, this person is gonna change, this isn't gonna last forever. When in reality, when you're in a situation like that, for the most part, they don't change and it only gets worse. And why are you staying? You're staying because obviously you're scared, which if you have amazing people around you, whether it's friends or family, they can help you with the situation. Or you can always call. There's hotlines for that if ever you feel unsafe in that type of situation. But usually we stay either because we're scared or because we love that person. And my previous relationship, I knew him since I was 16 years old. I am now in my 30s. I was with him in my, late 20s. And we were in a relationship when I was 16 and we broke up, obviously had seen other people and then got back, and everything was honky-dory in the beginning. And then once we moved in together, it was like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and started with the verbal abuse where it's one thing to have arguments, but it got really disrespectful. And then it got to the point where he was like following me places where he didn't believe I was in particular places where I say I would be, and I would see him showing up. And at first I thought, hey, it's cute, he's picking me up, he's so thoughtful. But then I realized that he was just super jealous, and it was an extremely toxic situation to be in. And from that, it went to getting in my face. Then it went to shoving, and it just got worse from there, We always think, oh, this is temporary. This is something that we have to go through for the people we love. Nobody's perfect. We think of all I want to say logical, but it's not logical. All the things that kind of makes sense in our head, but if you look at it in retrospect, and if you were to look at it from, let's say, one of your friends going through that, you would tell your friend, like, you need to get out of that situation. But for us, oh, we love the person. Oh my God, this person is amazing. When the times are good, they're good. So why not take a little bit of the bad? We always come up with any logical explanation that makes sense to us, when in reality it doesn't, and we're worth more than that. You deserve someone that is respectful, that is kind, that even though, of course, every relationship, you're going to go through arguments, but it's not going to get to the point where you guys are completely disrespecting each other. And that's the big thing. And for me, once I saw myself with a broken arm, I was like, okay, like, what am I doing? It finally clicked in my head. What am I doing? Why am I allowing this? I love this person, but does that mean I have to love this person more than I love myself? That shouldn't be the case. The only people that we need to love more than we love ourselves is our kids. He is not my kid, So I came to the realization that I literally was staying in the relationship because I loved him, and that was it. I wasn't happy at that point. Things weren't getting better, because most of the time they never do. They get worse, if anything. And from there, I just woke up one day and I said, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this anymore. I had to have a set plan. I had my family help me get everything out of the house, and I made sure that I did it while he was at work. work and I just got out of that situation. Of course, it's never like a final, like they'll call you, oh my God, we can go to counseling. I can do better, blah, blah, blah. But I wasn't having it. And here's a situation where I knew he was so toxic that even though I loved his family, like I was really close to his sisters and everything, I had to get out of this situation. I lost all contact with his family members. I moved, obviously. I didn't pick up his telephone calls. I was just done. I didn't want to be friends with him because here's the thing. When you're in a situation where it's a toxic relationship like that, the worst thing you can do is stay friends with that person because they'll have a tie to you. They'll always have access to you. And in that situation, you don't need that, You need to completely break ties and get out of there. Like that's your main thing. You need to completely get out of that situation. So that's what I did. Of course, he wound up showing in places that he wasn't invited to because he knew my schedule and he knew where I was. For the most part, like he knew, where I was going, where I would be. But it got to a point where I was like, listen, I had to tell him straight up, listen, either you stop showing up to places where I'm at or we're going to get the police involved because I'm not going to continue to deal with you showing up places where I don't want you to be at. And I don't have any interest of getting back together with you, let alone being your friend. And to this day, I feel the same way. Like I don't wish any ill will against him. I wish him the best, whatever his situation is. I don't check up on him. I don't have no connection, no communication with him or his family. I wish them all the best, but he just wasn't for me. And hopefully he bettered himself for his next relationship, whenever that is. If it's happening, who knows, who cares? But I knew that I wasn't going to tolerate that anymore. And that's when I decided in my head, listen, for my next relationship, if I even wind up getting in a relationship, because at that point I was when you first get out of a traumatic relationship like that, you're over it. Like you don't even want to be with anyone else. But I had in my mind, you know what? If I do wind up with someone, it's not going to be how it was before. I'm not going to allow what I used to allow before. And that's not being bitter. That's realizing your worth, realizing that you're not going to allow any disrespect. Being bitter is when you haven't gotten over that person, you're worried about what that person is doing. You have hate towards in my case, any other man. And that wasn't the case for me. I was not bitter by any means. I just knew that particular person wasn't for me. And from now on, whichever relationship I was in, I was going to promise myself that I am not going to allow any disrespect of any kind. Given no relationship is perfect, of course, you're going to hit certain roadblocks in your relationship, but for the most part, you need to have a partner that is going to respect you. And if you guys do have a disagreement or an argument, whatever the case, that you guys remain respectful towards one another and it doesn't become this toxic situation every time you guys have a disagreement, especially if it's someone who is mentally or physically abusive. Like there is like no okay for that whatsoever. That's never okay. So I just want to let you guys know that if you are going through a situation like that, and you're not happy, and the only reason why you're with that person is because you love them or because you're scared, try to find a way and come up with a plan to get out of that situation, because your happiness means more than the other person's happiness. For some people, they might say that you're only thinking about yourself, but that's not the situation. You're not only thinking about yourself. It's just your happiness is more important than someone else's. And your happiness shouldn't be disregarded because the person you're with just continues to be disrespectful, continue to degrade you, continue to just humiliate you, and you have to be okay with it because, oh, I love this person. No. And screw anybody that tells you, oh, you can't be bitter. It's not about being bitter. It's about knowing your worth and letting your partner know what your boundaries are and him or her respecting it. And if they don't, then they could keep it moving and you could go about your business and you can be either single and happy or find someone else. Do not give up your happiness for someone else's because you're worried about, oh, if I break up with this person, how are they going to react? How are they going to be? Are they going to be okay? That's not your business. You know what I mean? He or she is not your child. Your child is the only one that you have to worry like that. And that should be it. By the way, this is my first time trying this foundation. Totally off topic, but I'm obsessed with it. I have tried NARS before, but not this particular one. So I'm going to list everything down below, but I'm going to apply a little bit of bronzer because I haven't been in the sun. Despite the fact that I live in Hawaii, it's like I haven't been in the sun because of COVID. And I am pale, like ridiculously pale. So I need to apply some type of bronzer to get some warmth back in my face. And I know this video might be, hopefully it's not a trigger to anyone. I will list a warning in the beginning of this video just in case. And I hope by telling you guys a little bit about my situation and my story that you can realize that you're not the only one going through what you're going through. We all secretly have gone through something one way or the other. That wasn't the first relationship, obviously, that I've been in that has failed. But for me, it was the most traumatic. And it just completely changed how I maneuver in relationships. And some people might call it bitter, but honestly, it's not bitter at all because I don't have any ill will or any bad thoughts. It's not like I'm staying up all night, you know, wishing a person bad. It's just a matter of realizing that what I went through is not something that I ever want to go through again. And knowing that the right person will give me the respect and love that I feel I deserve. I am married now, and the relationship I'm in is not perfect. No relationship is, but he loves me and I love him and he respects me. And we rarely argue, but when we do, we remain respectful towards one another and we come to a resolution together. That was my main thing, was finding someone that was going to show me the respect that I feel I deserved, and that's it. So I've completed this look. I just wanted to do something very soft and have a little conversation with you guys, tell you guys a little bit of what I went through. Hopefully it can give you guys some motivation, some insight, whatever positive thought that can help you navigate what you're going through now, if you're going through something, or how you feel or what you can feel in the future. So if you guys enjoyed this video and want to have more conversations like this, then we can do so. Just let me know, whether it be down in the comments below, or if you want it more private, you can message me on my Instagram. If you have any questions, any concerns, any thoughts, anything that you want to talk to someone about but are afraid to, you can message me and know that I have gone through it, you know what I mean? And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry it's a little of a heavy topic, but I felt the need to have a video like this because if I can help someone by telling them what I went through and my insight and, you know, my experiences, then it was worth it. Even if it was just one person, then it was worth it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.